While I was paying for his surgery, he was spending his time in someone else's bed. Prologue. Love makes fools out of us. I learned that the hard way. For 5 years, I stood by Aiden through his struggles, his failures, and even when life decided to test us with the worst challenge yet. When he fell sick and needed emergency surgery, I didn't think twice. I drained my savings, maxed out my credit cards, and worked extra shifts to make sure he got the best care. I thought I was saving the man I loved. But while I was breaking myself to keep him alive, he was busy betraying me. And when I found out the truth, I didn't cry, I didn't scream. I simply decided he was going to regret it. The cost of love. Aiden had always been the reckless one. He lived life like he was invincible until the day his body gave up on him. "Baby, I don't know what's wrong," he had whispered over the phone, his voice weak. "I feel like I'm dying." When the doctors confirmed that he needed surgery immediately, he looked at me with tear-filled eyes. "I don't have the money for this." And I said, "Don't worry, I'll take care of it." Because that's what love is, right? Standing by someone in their darkest hour? So I did. I worked double shifts at the hospital, barely slept, and ate instant noodles just to cover his medical bills. I put his life before mine. And in return, he put another woman before me. The truth always comes out. It happened by accident. A week after his surgery, Aiden was recovering at home while I was at work. I had come home late, exhausted, and all I wanted was to crawl into bed beside him. But his phone buzzed on the nightstand. At first, I ignored it, but then, a message popped up on the screen. "Miss you in my bed. When are you coming back?" I froze. For a second, I convinced myself it was a joke, a mistake, a wrong number. Then another message. "Last night was amazing. Can't wait to see you again, babe." I felt like the air had been knocked out of my lungs. This man, the one I sacrificed everything for, was cheating on me. While I was running myself into the ground to save his life, he was sneaking off to another woman's bed. And that's when something inside me snapped. If he thought he could betray me and walk away unscathed, he had no idea who he was dealing with. Let the games begin. I didn't confront him immediately. No, that would be too easy, too merciful. Instead, I played the part of the loving, devoted girlfriend while I planned my revenge. The first step? Hitting him where it hurt the most. Aiden was still dependent on me financially and emotionally. I had paid for everything, from his medical bills to his rent. So, one morning, after he left for a work meeting, which I knew was a lie, I went straight to the landlord. "I won't be covering his rent anymore," I said with a sweet smile. "Feel free to evict him." Then, I went to the hospital and spoke to the billing department. "Oh, I made a mistake," I told them. "The insurance should be billed to Aiden directly. I won't be covering any more payments." And just like that, his comfortable little world started to collapse. The grand finale. The final blow came at the worst possible time for Aiden. He had no money, no apartment, and was drowning in medical bills. And then, I made sure he lost the one thing he thought he had, his mistress. I tracked her down easily. She was exactly what I expected: young, naive, and completely unaware of what she had gotten herself into. "Did he tell you about me?" I asked sweetly. She blinked. "He said he was single." I handed her a stack of hospital bills with his name on them. "Well, he's also broke, and I'm the one who paid for his surgery." Her face paled. And just like that, Aiden lost her too. My freedom, his downfall. I didn't stick around to watch Aiden crash and burn. The last time I saw him, he was standing outside my apartment, begging me to talk. "Please," he said, "I messed up, but I love you. You're the only one who was ever there for me." I tilted my head, pretending to think, "That's true, I was always there for you." Then I smiled. "But now, I'm done." I closed the door in his face and never looked back. Epilogue: the best revenge? Moving on. Aiden was just a painful lesson. I had given him everything, and he had thrown it away. But instead of breaking me, he made me stronger. I rebuilt my finances, focused on my career, and finally put myself first. And Aiden? He faded into nothing, just a man who once had everything but was too stupid to keep it. While I thrived, he suffered. And the best part? I didn't even have to lift a finger. begging for mercy, and I hadn't looked back once. But fate has a cruel sense of irony. Just when I thought he had disappeared from my life forever, there he was, standing outside my office building like a lost dog. At first, I almost didn't recognize him. The man who once walked with arrogance and charm now looked broken, his clothes wrinkled, his face unshaven, and his once magnetic confidence replaced by desperation. "Mia," he called out, his voice weak. I could have ignored him, I should have. But something in me wanted to see how low he had truly fallen. I stopped, crossing my arms. "What do you want, Aiden?" His eyes darted around nervously. I need your help." I let out a small, amused laugh. The audacity. "Help?" I tilted my head. "Like the help I gave when I drained my savings for your surgery? Or when I worked extra shifts so you could recover in comfort?" I took a step closer, lowering my voice. "Or do you mean the help I gave while you were busy screwing someone else?" He flinched. "I made a mistake," he mumbled. I let out a sharp, cold laugh. "A mistake?" I repeated. "No, Aiden. A mistake is forgetting an anniversary. What you did was a choice." He sighed, rubbing his face. "I lost everything, Mia." His voice cracked. "The apartment, the car. I have nothing." I gave him a slow, satisfied smile. "So you're finally experiencing what it feels like to have nothing?" I let the silence stretch between us before adding, "Good." His eyes widened slightly. "Mia, please, I know I don't deserve it, but I love you." I stared at him for a long moment. And then, I laughed. A real, genuine, amused laugh. Aiden looked hurt. "You think this is funny?" "Oh, absolutely." I wiped an imaginary tear from my eye. "Because you don't love me, Aiden. You love what I gave you. You love comfort, stability, security. And now that you've lost all of that, you want me back?" I leaned in slightly, lowering my voice. "You don't want me, Aiden. You just want to be saved." His lips parted like he wanted to argue, but deep down, he knew I was right. So I took a step back and smiled. "And I am done saving you." I turned on my heel and walked away. And this time, I never looked back. The best revenge is thriving. Leaving Aiden behind was the best decision I ever made. With him gone, I flourished. I got promoted at work, bought my own apartment, and finally traveled to places I had only dreamed of. I became happier, stronger, and most importantly, free. Meanwhile, Aiden faded into nothing. Mutual friends told me he bounced from couch to couch, still drowning in debt, still trying to rebuild his life, but no one wanted to help him, no one trusted him. Because the truth is, a man who betrays the one person who saves him will always be a man who destroys himself. And that's exactly what he did. One night, I got a text from an unknown number. "Aiden, I'm sorry for everything." I stared at it for a moment. Then, I deleted it. No response, no closure. Because some people don't deserve either. Epilogue, my freedom. His regret. Aiden was just a chapter in my life. A painful one, yes, but not the ending. I wasn't his savior anymore. I wasn't his second chance. I wasn't even his memory. I was his biggest regret. And that? That was the sweetest revenge of all. Months passed. My life had never been better. Without Aiden weighing me down, I was free financially, emotionally, mentally. My career was thriving. My savings were growing again. And for the first time in years, I was truly happy. Aiden, on the other hand? He was drowning. I knew through mutual friends that he had been evicted. His medical bills were piling up, debt collectors were after him, and his so-called mistress had dumped him the moment she realized he had nothing to offer. Karma had worked fast. But I wasn't prepared for the moment he actually showed up at my doorstep. I opened the door to find him standing there, looking nothing like the man I once knew. He had lost weight, his hair was a mess, and the confidence that once oozed from him was completely gone. "Please," he whispered, "can we talk?" I crossed my arms, raising an eyebrow. Why would I want to do that? Tears welled up in his eyes. "I lost everything. Mia, I need you." I let out a small laugh. "You lost everything?" "No, Aiden, you threw everything away, and now you want me to save you again? I know I don't deserve it, but I love you." His voice cracked. I stared at him, feeling absolutely nothing. Not anger, not sadness. Just indifference. That's the difference between you and me, Aiden, I said calmly. I loved you when you had nothing, and you betrayed me when I gave you everything. I took a step back and gave him the same cold smile he once gave me when he thought he had one. Goodbye, Aiden. And with that, I shut the door in his face. For the last time. Epilogue, a life without regrets. That was the day I truly let go. I didn't need revenge anymore because Aiden had already destroyed himself. I moved forward, built a life I was proud of, and never wasted another second on a man who was never worth it. Because the best revenge is living a life they'll never have. And I was living mine to the fullest. It had been months since I walked away from Aiden's pathetic excuses.